happening again. And that is how the idea of ISEC was born. And the one of the ways that they came up with in regards to how they can prevent similar conflicts in future is to create peace and fulfillment of humankind's potential. And from that, the vision of this organization was born. And ever since then, the organization went on expanding to more and more countries. As I already said, it started from Europe, but eventually it grew into even other continents. And here we are with ISEC in Rwanda. In Rwanda in particular, this organization started in 2008. So we have been here for 13 years. And for us to be able to ensure, of course, peace and fulfillment of humankind potential, we do it in two major ways. So there are two ways that we are able to engage people, that is through our membership program and also through our exchange, what we call exchange programs. And when I talk of these programs, of course, one other thing that we realized, because when we were creating the vision, we realized, okay, so how are we going to make sure that this vision is achieved? And one of the ways, actually the major way that we realized, is to be able to give young people a chance to, practice their leadership, but in a very practical way. So we are able to do that in two ways, through our membership experience program and also through what we call exchange programs. So what is our membership exchange? What is our membership experience program? So in membership experience, what we do is basically give young people roles to play in this organization. So we have so many departments across what we call our local chapters, and local chapters are more or less like our branches. So we are present in all the campuses of University of Rwanda, and even those universities that we are not physically present in, we encourage members from those universities to be able to participate as members in where we exist in the University of Rwanda campuses. And we have had members join in, whether they are from University of Rwanda or not, especially members from like UTB, members from African Leadership University, from Aquila, and even the former, Aquila, which has eventually turned into Davis College, and also universities like Kepler. And so how do we do that? Of course, we have various departments in the organization. We have human resource department, we have finance department, we have business development, we have project management, and all these opportunities so that a young person does not just graduate with a degree. We want somebody to graduate with experience, because one of the things that, of course, we believe is that leadership comes with experience. And we believe also that leadership comes with skills, like you need to have skills and all that. So we're able to provide these opportunities so that you can be able to be not just an ordinary graduate, but a graduate with skills, a graduate with experience, so that when you go out there to compete on the job market, then you're able to get a job, or you can even start your own. And we have had quite a number of alumni that have graduated to, become like very good workers in various organizations, or even people that have created startups that have eventually grown. And there's a saying that we always have in ISEC, that you cannot be an ISEC alumni and go broke. And that is a reality. Like most of the people that, graduate from our programs, either as from school, or even those that eventually get to manage the national team, like I, myself, and my other colleagues, there's always that skill. We always have those skills that actually make us competitive out there. And the other side of the program is, of course, the exchange program. So we also have other opportunities, like, let's say if you don't want to be a member, but you still want to benefit from our organization. So we have what we call the Global Volunteer Program. We have the Global Talent Program, and also the Global Teacher Program. And also these programs that a young person, if you want to volunteer, and what we usually do is that we want you to have international experience. That's number one. So the volunteering opportunities are usually in other countries. So we are able to find opportunities for young people, opportunities in Uganda, Kenya, Tanzania, across the whole world, where ISEC is also present. And you're able to go there as a volunteer, or you can even go there in our professional internship programs. That is the Global Talent Program. And over the years, we have worked with various organizations. Like one of the organizations that we actually worked with for the longest is Tata Consulting Service. This is a part of the Tata Group in India. and also in Hungary. And we've been able to send over 100 young people for the past 5 years to these particular places so that they can be able to develop their skills by, you know, gaining experience from these leading and big organizations. But even all across the region and also across Africa, we've been able to send young people for volunteering experiences and the likes. I got to know this organization in the same way. That was in 2016 when I got to volunteer in Uganda, in a district called Wakiso, and that is how I got to know of ISEC too. So we also have these particular programs within the organization, and we're inviting all of you, if you're not in ISEC yet, please check our social medias or even reach out to the organizers of this event that have been communicating with you guys so that you can know how you can be able to join in. Now, talking about, of course, our programs and membership experience, that's not all we do. We also run events. Just like we have organized this Global Money Week event, we also have other events. I'm sure some of you have heard of the Capital Markets University Challenge. We also run an event like the Career Fair and the likes, but let me bring it down to exactly Global Money Week. And one of the things that we get is, of course, we want to make sure that young people are part of conversations that are happening. You know, conversation in terms of, if we're talking about development of young people, can we include young people to actually be part of the conversation? That is our wish. And that is what we always like to push for. And that is why we organize an event like Global Money Week, of course, to talk about issues of financial literacy. How can young people get opportunities to get money, whether through employment or even through getting funds to even start their businesses? And for that particular, of course, conversation, that is what we're going to be talking about now, especially with the panel discussions and also the workshops. How can you get money to start your own business? We are really glad that all of you guys have been able to be part of this event, that you've been able to register and actually be present for today. And this is an event that is not only happening now, but this event has been happening for the past 5 years. ISEC in Rwanda has been among the leading organization that organizes Global Money Week. It's a global event, and it's actually happening all across the world. Like very many other organizations are also running it, but we are proud that in Rwanda, that ISEC in Rwanda gets to pioneer an event of this caliber. And of course, we have been able to engage quite a number of people, quite a lot of institutions and organizations. In the past, the event has been physical. So we usually used to engage high schools, we used to engage university students, and also maybe bring speakers or take them to various organizations for them to learn about various things about money matters. But for this year, for reasons that we all know, of course, COVID-19 hit. And one of the things that we have been discussing for the past close to 6 months is an event that makes meaningful impact and sense like this. Are we going to not do it because of something like COVID? And one of the things that organizations have been doing around the world is, of course, adapting and getting used to what we call the new normal. And also that's one thing that we decided, okay, how can we be able to run this event virtually? And so that we can be able to make sure that we are complying with the various COVID-19 regulations set up by the government. And at the same time, we're also keeping our people safe, because that is also very, very important. And here we are organizing Global Money Week 2021 as a virtual event. And this is the first of its kind. And of course, a lot of things are still, learning in progress and everything, but we are here to make sure that you have a very, very good experience, just like it would have been if it was virtual. And with that being said, of course, I also want to thank the various people that have made sure that this event happens. Of course, I'll be thanking them all over across the whole event, but I also want to take this time to also thank, first of all, our partners. That is African Management Institute, that is Equity Bank, and also ESPartners. They have made sure that an event like this happens, and we would like to really appreciate their presence and also their contribution to make sure that such an event happens. And other than that, of course, the whole organizing team, from the members of ISEC to the national leadership of this organization, I also want to thank you so much for making sure that such an event happens. And now we're going to go into, of course, the next part of the agenda. That is basically a keynote. But before we get into that, I would like our panelists to put on their video and also get to introduce themselves, because after that, we are going to also get into that space. So panelists, if you can hear me, can you just introduce yourself? Just a quick introduction, and so that the people here can get to know you. Some people are saying they can't hear me. Can you guys hear me? Can I be heard? Okay, I think our panelists can actually hear me. All right, so you can go ahead and introduce yourself, sir. Can we start with AMI?
Good morning, everyone. My name is Malik Shafi, and I am very happy to be here today. And I represent African Management Institute as the country manager.
All right, thank you so much, Mr. Malik Shafi. Let's move on to the next person here present. That is from ESPartners. Yes, do we have that?
Good morning, everybody. My name is Isidore. I am also a project manager at ESP, Entrepreneurial Solution Partners.
All right, thank you so much. Can we have a representative of Equity also introduce themselves? I don't know if they can hear me.
Oh, yes, I can hear you.
Oh, yes.
My name is Kageneri. I'm the head of finance at Equity Bank, and I'm glad to be here. Thank you for the opportunity.
All right. Thank you so much to our panelists. So you guys have got to see our panelists now. The first thing on the agenda. Did somebody say something? All right, I think it was a mistake. So the first thing on the agenda is, of course, getting to hear a keynote from African Management Institute. And I'm sure, Mr. Malik, you're going to be handling that space. So, sir, the floor is yours.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. I'm very pleased to celebrate this Global Money Week with you. And I would like to start by thanking and applauding a lot Equity Rwanda for organizing this event. In our conversation about this event, I was particularly excited because I am passionate about events that focuses on youth empowerment and young entrepreneurs. So prior to joining African Management Institute, I spent 8 years working with an organization that empowers adolescent girls and helps them to fulfill their potentials. In most of my free time, I spend a lot of time in conversation with the young people discussing their own development and our country development. I cannot express how much I am proud every time when I see a young person thriving. So I learned early in life that the future of economic growth and management of our financial resources depend on how financially educated we young people are. I'm thrilled to work with the organization that share my vision. Just like the official theme and the slogan of Global Money Week, AMI is all about learn, save, earn, and also thrive as well. So how does this connect to our objectives? So learn. So we equip entrepreneurs with tools to build their businesses, help companies train their team, and run work readiness program for our young people. So second, save. When our founder, Jonathan Cook and Rebecca Harrison started AMI, it was after noticing the lack of business management skills in young people. And this was really created to make sure that young people understand money, young people understand business, and they can thrive in their daily life. And so when you take care of yourself and then take care of your business, you take care of your money. And this work focuses on livelihood skills, business training, and job training. We have currently trained over 27,000 people in 15 countries through more than 80 programs. Thanks to our training, and businesses started noticing positive change and made profit. So during this pandemic, COVID hit, we also started a new initiative under the partnership with MasterCard Foundation, which was really aimed to empower businesses and then make sure that they can thrive in this hard moment. It's not always about earning money in business. It's about adjusting and maintaining your business during hard times and becoming innovative. So during the commercial week, we will share a video of one of our youngest participants, Joella, who is a chef cook. So when this pandemic happened, she did not really sit down and then wait when businesses are going to open so that she can go back to work. Instead, she decided to pivot her business and then do something more useful. So she created a YouTube channel where she could then translate her skills and then make money by providing cooking classes online. So businesses like this or people like this are our daily inspiration. So the people who are able to understand the situation, adjust the situation as they see it coming. And I hope that when you see the video, you'll get inspiration and you can learn from that. I would like to conclude by once again thanking everyone who made this global week. I hope this time it will be a time for us to sit, listen, be inspired, ask questions, and then leave with a lot of motivation. Thanks again for ISEC team to welcome us and allow us to be part of this amazing initiative. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much, African Management Institute, for your words. And also, once again, I want to highlight that once again, we're very, very happy to have you in this discussion and also to be present for such an event. So just like he said, we're going to show you guys a small clip. So we're in a kind of like a commercial break where we're going to show some of the works of African Management Institute, and just give me a few minutes, be able to put that on your screen in a few. Yes, yes. So you should be able to see my screen by now. Yep. Okay. So this is a video from African Management Institute.
Ndekingiriza njyenyine, kwinjiriza n'abandi, hari abandi guhahira, mu by'ukuri aka kazi nkora ntabwo ari ndekingiriza njyenyine, kwinjiriza n'abandi, hari abandi guhahira, ngasigira amafaranga nko muri supermarché, abo ntuma bakanzanira ibyo kurya ngiye guteka inkono runaka, abo dukorana bari gufata amashusho, naho hari icyo bibinjiriza. Nitwa Ziramuyimpundu, ndi umukobwa w'imyaka 29, ndi umutetsi wabigize umwuga, mbikora mbikunze, ni impano yanjye. Ntabwo kubikunda gusa aribyo byonyine, ahubwo nagerageje no kugira ngo byige kugira ngo mbikore neza mu buryo bwa kinyamwuga. Nabyize short courses z'amezi 6 n'amezi 3 internship, ndakomeza muri université UTB, University of Tourism, Technology and Business Study, niga mu ishami rya Hotel and Restaurant Management. Narakomeje mbona ibyo ntibihagije kugira ngo nkore ibintu kandi mbikore neza, fata training za AMI, African Management Institute, niga muri Program Inspiring Management. Nakunze ukuntu twigiraga hamwe, bakajya baduhereza nk'ingero niba tugiye kwiga nk'uko uburyo wakoresha umukozi ukamukoresha neza, hakaba hari uri bukine ameze nka boss, hakaba hari uri bukine ameze nk'umukozi, hakaba hari n'indorerezi. Ibyo bintu rero narabikunze kuko ubona ari ibintu biba mu buzima busanzwe. Muri lockdown ya mbere ubwo nari nicaye, hari abashuti banjye baratangiye barambaza bati shobora ko tubona uzi guteka, tukabona ushoboye kuki utatwigisha muri iki gihe tutari kujya mu kazi, tukamenya gutekera abantu, abashuti bacu nabo tubana nabo. Uko nagendaga nigisha kuko naravugaga fata umuceri ungana gutya, fata amazi angana gutya, teke gutya, buri muntu wese ukabona ari kubikunda. None barambwira ariko se ko ibintu bitwigisha tukaba tutakwishyura, wafunguye YouTube channel. Muri AMI hari amasomo yafashwe atandukanye, hari ibyo bita negotiation, goal setting. Irindi nize byafashije ni effective communication. Ibyo ni ubumenyi nakuye muri AMI kandi murakoresha mu buzima bwanjye bwa buri munsi. Natangiye business nikora njyenyine, ubu nkorana n'abakozi babiri, harimo uweditinga n'ushutinga. Nkorana nabo neza kuko mfite ubumenyi n'ubushobozi bwo gukorana nabo. Ndateganya kongera abakozi mu gihe kizaza kubera ko mbona ko business yanjye itangiye kwaguka. Ndashishikariza abari n'abategarugori bagenzi banjye kugana amahugurwa AMI, dore ko harimo n'ayo batangira ubuntu kandi bakaduhuza n'inararibonye zitwongerera ubumenyi mu kazi kacu ka buri munsi. Kuva nangire business yanjye maze kunguka abakiriya batandukanye banyigishije guteka barenze 10, maze kugira views zirenga 5,000, subscribers zirenga 1,400. Ndashishikariza buri mwari n'umutegarugori gukora kandi agakora cyane, akamenya yuko ashoboye gukora ibintu undi muntu atakekaga igihe abyiyumvamo, kugira ngo dukomeze dushimangire iterambere ry'umwari n'umutegarugori.
All right, thank you so much. That was the video from AMI. And yes, now we are going to move into, of course, the next thing on the agenda, and that is a panel discussion where we're going to be engaging our panelists. Now, just give me a few minutes, sorry, a few seconds. Yes, so the panel discussion, of course, as some of you guys have been hearing, you know, even from the keynotes that was given, is that the theme for this Global Money Week is take care of yourself, take care of your money. And you might be asking, okay, what made us even like come up with the topic of this panel? Is because currently entrepreneurship is not a subject that you can talk to youth about without, you know, mentioning, because a lot of things in the world right now, a lot of indicators and factors are pointing out that, you know, we need to start having conversations around entrepreneurship with, of course, the growing, the increasing population of young people. It's very important that we start talking about how can we be able to create businesses? How can we be able to even sustain the growing population, because entrepreneurs eventually even contribute to the various day-to-day goods and services that we are able to use as a people. And of course, when we were also coming up with this topic, we managed to also go through some of the statistics. And from the International Labour Organization, we came across this particular statistic that there are about 600 million entrepreneurs in the world. All right, and if you take that number and you divide it, of course, with the current world population, you realize that at least 1 in 13 people on the planet are entrepreneurs. And again, this also emphasizes why it's very important to talk about this topic, because it's a topic that is almost as viral, or that is present in quite a number of people. But even with that conversation, even the fact that we have 1 in 13 people, there is even a need to continue growing these numbers. There is a need to actually up these numbers so that we can even have more people being entrepreneurs, because of course there's growing demand for goods and services. There is also growing demand for employment. And of course, that is what we're going to be discussing, because coming into the Rwandan context, we also managed to come across this particular statistic. One of the things, of course, one of the conversations that is happening now is COVID-19. And one cannot speak about COVID-19 without talking about the effects that COVID-19 has had, not only on this country as Rwanda, but even across the whole world. And one of the effects, of course, has been on the unemployment. All right, the unemployment rate has been, unemployment has been severely affected by COVID-19. If you look at the unemployment rate before COVID hit, because as we remember, COVID-19 has been there for 1 year so far, and it really started affecting our country and the policies and regulations in about March last year. And if you look at the unemployment rate slightly before COVID-19 came to Rwanda, that was in February, the unemployment rate stood at 14.5%. That is according to the National Institute of Statistics of Rwanda's publications. And over the period, the unemployment rate continued growing. And as per the last publication that we could get our hands on, that is for November, the unemployment rate stood at 20.3%. That indicates a growth of about that is 6% of people grew or fell into the unemployment brackets. That is, we also had more other people joining that in unemployment category. And what that means is, of course, 6% might seem low, but it's actually a lot. That is a lot of young people that are already finding others that are already also unemployed. And we also have graduates that are graduating year in and year out. So there's also this poses also a very important discussion that we need to start discussing. How can young people also start creating jobs or even being ready for jobs, because that's also another discussion. So that shaped, of course, the conversations that we're going to be having in this particular space, especially with this panel discussion, because what we're going to be talking about is how can a young person start a business even within this COVID-19 context, because a lot of young people are talking about that it's even hard to start a business now. It has been hard before, and even with COVID-19, it's even harder. But we are going to be breaking down that conversation. How can you start a business even within the current COVID-19 context, looking at the challenges that exist and also exploring the various opportunities that exist. And with that being said, of course, we are going to be having our panelists, again, switching on their videos because we're going to be interacting with them. And also, there is going to be a poll that we're going to put on your screen. So once you see it, please just care to answer it. It's just one question that is trying to ask, like, how will the post-COVID-19 world impact entrepreneurship? We want to know, based on your understanding, based on how you've been seeing things, do you think that after COVID-19 is done, entrepreneurship is going to be positively impacted, negatively impacted, or nothing is going to change? This is more or less to give us a situation, or kind of like an understanding of even how you young people feel with how COVID-19 is happening and how you envision it affecting entrepreneurship. And you can see the poll on your screen already, so you can be voting. But in the meantime, as we're receiving in your votes, because the poll is going to be open for only 2 minutes, let me invite our panelists. Once again, you've already heard from Malik. We have Isidore, who is representing ESPartners, and also Christian from Equity Bank. We're really happy to have you both. And so I'm going to be asking questions, some of the questions to moderate this discussion. But other than that, I'm also going to be allowing you, the delegates, the people that are attending this call, to also ask questions. So on your screen, you can see a Q&A space. If you have a question, do not wait for any other time. Just send it in. And I'm going to be going through the questions as I'm also moderating the questions that I have. So if you have a question, I'll be also able to make it known to the panelists so that they can be able to attend to this. So panelists, are you ready? Do we have you on the call? I need to know if these guys are here. All right, yes, they're here. Yes, so as the people are bringing in, of course, their votes in regards to the poll that we just put on the screen, and before we even get or dissect this, topic and get into the conversation, we want us, like, would you please take us through what your company or organization does and how does it relate to young people? Because the young people here want to understand how they can benefit from AMI, how they can benefit from equity, how they can benefit from ESPartners. And I would like AMI to start, and then followed by Equity Bank, and then ESPartners. So AMI.
So as I said, AMI was created to support businesses and managers to thrive. So which means is that we provide 100% online training materials that support young people, businesses, and managers in their mid-career to really be best and then thrive at work. So currently we have two programs, or actually 3 programs going on. So one is our COVID relief program that's mainly dedicated to any entrepreneur or anyone who has a business with at least 5 million turnover per year. Like means like you can manage to make a sales for 5 million on a yearly basis. And this program was really designed to make sure that the small businesses that had challenges in this pandemic, we support them to recover and be more successful again. So in this type of training, we really provide different tools that would help them in their day-to-day management. And then also we connect them with other businesses so that they can share challenges and learning and support each other. So we also have different trainings under hospitality and tourism sector. As we know, this is the most hit sector because of the pandemic. So we also try to really train different people in that particular area. And that one is not really just businesses, but it's also other people who are maybe work in any sector that connect to hospitality and tourism, either as managers or when they're in their middle careers.
All right, thank you so much, AMI, Equity Bank.
So we will, sorry, one quick thing. So we will put a link here for application if someone is really keen to apply for any of our programs. So Isabel, my colleague who is here, so we'll paste a link soon.
Thank you. Thank you, Philip. Thank you, every panelist. Glad to see you again, Easy, Mr. Easy. Nice to meet the team from AMI and everyone else. I thank Pascaline for pushing Equity to be present. Such an honor. I'm glad to see such a huge number of participants on this platform. My name is Christian Kageneri. I'm the head of Equity Bank. Our mission is to offer integrated financial services that socially and economically empower consumers, businesses, enterprises, and communities. Our product and services empower you to achieve your dreams and expand opportunities for wealth and creation. To answer the country director of ISEC question, we have initiatives such as COMESA in partnership, it's an initiative in partnership with ESP, MasterCard Foundation, and Equity Bank PLC, Rwanda. As the financing partner, we'll provide the right combination of financial support, technical assistance for more than 120 SMEs at all stages of maturity, focusing on the tourism and hospitality sector and its value chain. The program has been established through a commitment of 2.5 million USD from the MasterCard Foundation COVID-19 Recovery and Resilience Program. Over the next year, the COMESA program will provide technical assistance and financing for more than up to 50,000 USD, the SME program, and so on. So these are kind of initiatives that we do, but further than that, we have different accounts product. We have a product called Konti Intego in Kinyarwanda or Jijenge in Swahili. It's a contractual account where you can increase your saving culture to help you realize your dream. One can deposit any amount, at as many times as they can, and they give you access to different investment opportunities. We also do trade finance, contract finance based on your cash flow. We also have a product called a student account or junior account, you can say it that way, where we provide the medium of investing in the independent future, even for people who are below 16 or 18. I remember Easy, when you're still in the US, you asked me this question. So the benefits comes with a free banker check and payment for payment of school fees every quarter, low minimum and operating account balance, opening balance below 10,000, no ledger fees, no maintenance fee, no monthly charges, no cash or check deposit charges. We take a free photo and instant account opening. We have a solution called Akokanya, where you can instantly open an account with a USSD 555. You have free internal standing orders. Miner has a sense of ownership of the account. We get to educate the young population, where we see a lot and massive opportunities. The account is accessible at any branch or on any of our agents, which is one of our major channels. Irregular withdrawal charges are below 2%. Free Kabi kits to enable them to start saving at home. Flexible school fees, loans to parents or guardians up to 1.25% discount on the ongoing rate, and so many other products. We have a very long pool of product handbook that we can share later to the management of ISEC and for more digital literacy. So it's such an honor and pleasure for me to talk to young people. I was very happy to see the number growing of participants on this platform, and I'm willing to exchange more. Thank you. Over.
All right, thank you so much, Christian. Yes, Mr. Isidore.
Good morning, everybody. Like I said, my name is Isidore Yadukunda, and I am the project manager at ESP, specifically managing a program called Tourism Inc. And at ESP Entrepreneur Solution Partners, we'll be celebrating about 10 years of existence this June. And ever since we existed, our goal, mission is to foster prosperity through entrepreneurship by deploying intelligent capital, skills and tools that entrepreneurs need, not only to survive, but also to thrive. And we do that through two ways. There's what we call scale practices, which is a line through which we empower entrepreneurship through creation, innovation, or pivoting. So that people want to come up with new business ideas. And those who have business ideas, they want to accelerate, or those who have business ideas, they want to pivot a little bit to find new avenues for continuing to make an impact. So we run incubation programs through that ideate or incubate or accelerate those types of entrepreneurs, whatever stage you are on. And really, if you think about it, in 2035, Africa is going to have the largest workforce in the world. 40% is going to be based on this continent. And if nothing is done today, that statistic could be either a disaster to the continent, or it could be a blessing, depending whether we're taking action today. So we're looking ahead and thinking about how we can proactively respond to that challenge that is to come, so that it could be a blessing on our continent. And so today, when you think about the young people who are seeking for jobs, there are more young people seeking for jobs than the jobs that are being created. So helping entrepreneurs is to create those jobs for themselves, not only for themselves, but also for other people who are not able to yet get into that line of entrepreneurship. Another avenue that we help this practice is through, it's called insights, or you could think of it as consulting or advising. So we also work with industry leaders, governments, big organizations, in terms of advising them on business making decision, strategy, or expansion, basically best practices that are going to allow them to enrich themselves, to make really entrepreneurship a source of prosperity. And if that is happening, of course, as they grow, they're creating more jobs that become profitable, and entrepreneurship is thriving It's also very important for those people because they're in a position to set an example for young people. So the more they're able to make the best informed decisions, then the better we are able to inspire more young people who are looking up to them. So that's it for, in a summary for ESP. I'm pretty sure we're going to learn more about the different avenues, specific avenues we're helping young people as we go along. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much, Mr. Isidore. So now moving into the next question, of course, that is, we're talking entrepreneurship, and I'm glad, you know, all our panelists represent organizations that are actually, you know, tackling this issue. But we want to generally understand, in your past working with youth, our youth organization for the past 1 year, how would you say that this pandemic has affected youth entrepreneurship? Speaking from your engagements with them, do you see businesses being run by young people, or even young entrepreneurs, having been affected by COVID-19, or has there been no effect? And I would like Equity Bank to start with that. Then we move to AMI and also ESPartners. So Equity.
Thank you, Country Director. The COVID has had obviously an impact on economic performance. Actually, last night I was reading a report of McKinsey. Maybe I'll share the link for everyone's knowledge. It's called African Banking in the New Reality. COVID has affected all businesses generally, but some businesses will have to recover quicker than others. We cannot predict exactly when, but this is not the first time the world has been shaken by such events. The recent one was in 2008, when the US was shaken by the real estate crisis. The other one, the biggest one also, the world faces during the Great Depression in 1929 and 1930, and that period. We will definitely recover. I think my advice here is that for you to have a rapid recovery is to focus on sectors that are essential. Some of them is FMCG. The other one is the pharmaceutical sector, and another piece that is actually more easy generation to understand is the digital space. We have so many e-commerce outlets being created. My advice again is for e-commerce outlets to understand more how banks function, especially when it comes to processors, processing fees, settlement processes, payment gateway. Why do we have higher charges? What else can be given in a digital space? Which countries to learn from? You can take so many case studies from India, from China, and bigger markets. There's also a document that I'll share that has almost 249 pages that has so many use cases of open banking solutions that we can implement here. My other also key takeaway or advice here will be people to think beyond Rwanda. Rwanda is more is a country where the government has put in place all the regulatory framework, the conducive investment stakeholders, but to think beyond Rwanda, to go in countries like Central Africa, West Africa, where digitalization is still new, there's new greenfield. Use Rwanda as a proof of concept and expand it. Thank you.
All right, and so taking the question to AMI, you know, you showed us an interesting story of Joella. So we want to understand other stories like Joella's, like other people who are also have benefited greatly like Joella. Have you seen an effect when it comes to how you've been engaging them with COVID-19? And can you give us like highlights on that?
Yes, thank you. So I have to say, 2020 was a very different year. And this has happened in our professional life, in our personal life, and we have been trying to learn and adapt on how best to adapt to the world and then move forward. So, and this has been really hard for young people and small businesses, because one, young people not knowing exactly where to go, who to talk to, if they are trying to start a business, how do they do it, and then where to go to ask advice, and things like that. So that's happening. That was why we created, in partnership with RDB and the MasterCard Foundation, the COVID-19 Resilience and Relief Program, so that we can support or help small businesses and young people to thrive. So one of our biggest learning is that sometimes a lot of young people tell themselves that the only thing they need in their life is money, right? And they think that if they would have money to invest in a business or money to add on their current business investment, it will help them to maybe to be more successful. But actually what we have learned is not that. They actually need, if you look at this in depth, the number one thing you need is tools that will support you and will guide you to be successful with the little you have. Because if you cannot manage the little you have, then you cannot even manage the investment you have. So what we've been really focusing on in this period is to make sure that they understand how to manage their business, and they understand how to pivot and adapt with the new norm. Is it the right time to change your business model? Or did your customer base change? And then how do you go to find a new customer base? So we really try to sort of like more pivot in that sense. And then we've seen this really working. And then an example was Joella, who was like, okay, I am a chef. I used to work in the restaurant, and then there is no restaurant. How else am I going to pivot my life? So, and if there is anyone who can do this best, is we young people, because we think first. And we are more courageous. So that's really what at AMI we try to encourage people, and that's what actually I personally, I'll tell every young person on this channel today, so that every time anything happens, just be able to adjust so fast. And it's okay to fail at your first adjustment, but the way you really wake up so fast and then move so fast, that's what will make you even more successful.
All right, thank you so much, Mr. Malik. Yes, ESPartners.
Yeah, I agree with what both Christian and Malik have shared. And specifically at ESPartners, we definitely know that the pandemic has not only affected the young people in entrepreneurship, so it's the whole economic ecosystem. Whoever I think about, young people, older people, anybody has been affected. And so to speak, entrepreneurship for young people. But the difference when you talk about effect, difference there's going to be how people look at this. The pandemic could have been an opportunity for some people. Some people saw it as an opportunity to invent or to come up with business solutions that respond to the gaps they were observing. And other people saw it, yes, as something that is there to drain them. I'll take an example. Back in 2010, in the US, there was a recession. And during that recession, that's where companies like Netflix, Airbnb, Lego, MailChimp, Citigroup, that's when they were born. Today, they are multi-billion companies. But the people who came up with them, they were inspired by that recession. People really say that nobody knows if it wouldn't have been for the recession that possibly Netflix or Airbnb would be existing today. So today we're also seeing things like a lot of e-commerce, like Christian mentioned here in Kigali. Back in the days, I think when you would go to a restaurant, possibly you could wait up to 45 minutes to get served, average. But today you just sit in your house and then you go to Vuba or Pause or Delivery and then you order. People don't mind paying that extra delivery fee because ideally the delivery fee added to the cost of the food is good enough for someone to be willing to spend that much if they're getting the service sitting at their house. And so people are pivoting from that perspective, looking at opportunities, looking at the gap that exists in the market, looking at the customer behavior. People, like consumers' behavior have changed. And for people who are so observant, they're literally looking at how customers are wishing to spend their money, and they're responding to that need. I'm currently working with about 35 entrepreneurs on a daily basis for a period of 6 months. And looking at how they're coming up with different business ideas, especially going digital to respond to needs, especially in sectors like tourism. It's really inspiring. One of them is doing literally digital tourism where they're going and they're live streaming an experience of touring something like Lake Ruhondo, Lake Burera. They have a chef who is there. So they're providing you the experience that you can tune in and watch sitting in your house on YouTube. And you think they don't make money, but for every view that gets on there, they make money. And so it's about how you think of this situation and then make it rather an opportunity as opposed to seeing it as a problem for the rest of your life. And speaking of that, the business that I just mentioned, they are running a session today at 5. I'm going to drop a link here for those of you who might be interested. You just need to sign in, and you'll be able to follow the experience on Burera and Lake Ruhondo as if you were there. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much. And before I get even into other questions, I want to again encourage people. I saw somebody ask, where do they put questions? So you have a Q&A kind of something on your screen right now. Just put in your questions there. I'm already getting questions, and I encourage other people to keep on sending the questions. And I'm going to actually be going through some of the questions that were submitted by the participants. But before we get into that, let me share the results of the poll. And I'm really glad that, you know, there is an optimism. And I think, as you see on your screen right now, you can see that regardless of COVID-19, we still have people that, you know, these young people that are present here that are still optimistic about how the world is going to be even after we beat this COVID-19 situation. You can see that about 49% are optimistic that after COVID-19, you know, is done and we're done with this thing, then we're going to have actually even businesses growing based on the challenges that COVID-19 would have brought. And I think that's the most amazing thing when it comes to entrepreneurship. It's looking at challenges and how you can also be able to overcome that adversity. But we also have the majority, that is 52%. That is 112 people of the 214 people that participated in this poll who are, you know, kind of like pessimistic. They're not sure how entrepreneurship is going to be after COVID-19. And then we also have 4% that are saying, well, we don't know. We are not really sure on how this is going. And before, of course, we're going to, maybe because some of the reasons, maybe they are not sure of what areas are very attractive right now when it comes to investing, when it comes to starting with business ideas, like, you know, what areas are gaining the most attention. Before I get into that, I want to kind of like also go through some of the questions that have already managed to come in. And the first question, let me scroll to the first question on top, is, yes, the first person that said something is Emile Maurice Dusengyumukiza, and he said that the problem is not how people start businesses. The problem is how they can achieve their business and what you can help, and what can you help those people try to start. And I'm going to address this particular question just to Equity Bank. How do you help people to start? How can you help a young person? Like Emile wants to know, like, the exact thing that needs to happen for a young person to start their business. And I believe Equity can really answer that particular question. How do you help somebody like Emile start a business in very few words?
Oh, thank you, Philip. I think someone else asked the same question on the Q&A panel. Now, the question is broad and a bit controversial when it comes to Africa. When we start life in Africa after university, most of us start in a minor status. You have cousins, relatives, if not parents, to take care of, even when you're still a university student. So your account balance in most cases start in minus. If it's not minus only because of your social status and family and relatives, it's minus because you have a loan to pay back when you are still a student. So it's very difficult to mention or to advise how to start it, but it's still a way. How will financial institution, or how can you take advantage on financial institution? Again, one of them is developing a culture of financial literacy. The other one is saving culture, and the other one is investing in asset and not liability. The African culture is more of spending in liabilities. People buy things that they don't need to impress people that they don't know, or people who don't know them. That is those are basic financial principles that can sound so lame, but very, very important if you have to start a pillar. Second, when you're still young, I encourage people to join clubs like ISEC, where ISEC, if ISEC is able to pull more than 500 youth in the platform, and then you combine programs with AMI or ESP, people get to win prizes that can be seed investors, seed investing program, and where equity will be willing. Because in that program, we have partners like MasterCard Foundation who are willing to put guarantee fund and to boost a certain sector. And I'll give an example. Today, MasterCard Foundation is focusing on agri-farming, but in digitalizing the sector of agri-farming with smallholder farmers. And they have so many programs with Spark, who is looking at the Irish value potato. There's 1 acre fund where you can be a smallholder farmer, where equity also is financing. There is also small cooperatives across the country, where we invest in value chains such as rice. There is also people who are starting business in the energy sector as low as LPG gas, liquid petroleum gas, retail services in a digital manner. We are willing to invest and finance again when people come as an association. What happens is you can put what we commonly call ikimina or ivimina, or what is called collective saving groups. When you put a collective amount, the bank is willing to take a collateral, which is investing in human capital. It's very difficult for more than 10 people or 15 people to default at a go, than rather chasing one individual. So the bank, of course, is risk and compliance driven, because when we lend a lot of people and they're not able to pay back, it creates a whole economic crisis. Another point I want to mention is that an advice to young people is to look beyond in city. I know a lot of young people that are making money out of Kigali. If you can move out of the city a little bit, it will also create value. There's a young man we are meeting last week, Shikama Diocese, that is doing agriculture. He spends most of his time out of the city, and he's quite doing good business in the agriculture sector. His value proposition is more linking the smallholder farmers on the ground level and consumers in the city at a very low price. So we as a financial institution, we look at those ways of investing, but there are so many ways also to look at. that I can continue to discuss in the workshop. Thank you, Philippe. Over.
All right, and now there are also other questions that were directly addressed to AMI. I think Mr. Malik is going to take us through that. Valentine asked, is the programs of AMI paid or free? And I'm also going to combine it with two other questions that are almost similar. She also asked, can foreigners access the program? That is, foreigners that are in the country. And also somebody else called Eve said, is the training that is offered by AMI, is it only for those who already have businesses, or even those who are starting a business can attend? So yes.
Yes, thanks. All great questions. I'm happy that I can see people interested in learning business and entrepreneurship. So the first question is, our programs are sponsored, so which means that they are paid by someone else. So when you join the program, you don't have to pay, because MasterCard Foundation has already covered the expenses to join this program for you. Second question, if someone is in the country and operating the business in the country, then also can apply for our programs. Third question, our programs for people starting the business.
Who are already starting businesses.
Yes. Yeah. So there's two programs. One for our COVID resilience and recovery program. So you have to have a business and your business has to be operating so that you can join the program. For hospitality and tourism, you do not necessarily have to be in to have a business, but at least you have to be working in hospitality and tourism. So if you are at a manager level, when I'm saying a manager, it's any place, even if it's a coffee shop and then you're a manager in that coffee shop. So if you're at a manager level, you can definitely apply for the program in hospitality and tourism. But for COVID resilience and recovery plan, you need to have a business. Again, Isabel, my colleague, is on the call. She will be posting the link on the chat so that you can continue to apply.
Yeah, and somebody else had also asked if someone who does not have a business but have business idea can attend the bootcamp. You talked about the bootcamp. Somebody asked that question.
Someone who has a business idea can attend the bootcamp. Please apply, because when you apply, you go through a selection. So then we will look into that. But currently, we really select people who have already started, but not to discourage anyone on the platform. So if you feel like if you feel like AMI will give you any support, just give a shot and apply, and then we'll look into the application.
All right, thank you so much. Once other questions come in, I'll be able to address them to you. So that question, of course, Fatmata Ali, you've been answered in regards to the bootcamp, if you have a business idea. Jeremiah had a question. No, I think this question was also answered. Jeremiah's question was, do you coach youth businesses, ideas of projects and connect them with donors? I think that has been also tackled. Somebody had a question directly addressed to, where is the question? Yes, directly addressed to Mr. Christian, yes. And that was Jean Didier Habiman. He was asking, do you offer a loan to university students without collateral security? So Mr. Christian, somebody asked that question.
Thank you, Philippe. I answered on the chat, but it's good also to answer for everyone. No, we don't. We don't, but we encourage saving, and we encourage you to participate in programs like ESP or AMI or any other partner that Equity has, where in the future, if you are able to present a business case, and we also train you in financial literacy, how to express, how to build a business plan, so that if your business is viable, we don't invest in a student as an individual, we invest in the viability of the business idea. So if itself, the business is bankable, as long as you are major enough to, if you have an ID card and you can start your own business, the bank will be willing to invest in it. But we don't invest in individuals because you're a student, because we belong to ISEC, no. ISEC can maybe be a platform where we provide financial literacy, where we educate you how to behave when you are meeting a banker. How do you talk to the credit analyst or the credit administrator? How do you talk to a branch manager, and so on? So that's what I can answer. We can have more discussion during the workshop. Over. Thank you.
All right, thank you. And I'm going to again move to the next questions. Boniswe Kumalo asked this particular question, and I think Mr. Isidore can help us. And even after he shares his views on that, we can also be able to open it up to anybody else that wants to contribute. And it's actually a question that I had too. And she asked, what types of businesses do you think will be a necessity post-COVID-19? She's trying to understand, like, based on your engagement in entrepreneurship and so forth, what type of business do you think will be a necessity after COVID-19? So I think, Mr. Isidore, you can be able to kind of like share your views on that. And we can also open up to somebody else that has something to say in regards to that. Mr. Isidore?
Yeah, it's a good question. So if you look at the ecosystem, there's not one particular business that is sufficient by itself that you can say this is going to be able to drive the whole economy by itself. But depending on where you're located, for instance, in Rwanda, we know that we don't have, we are landlocked, we have minerals like other countries do, but we survive on tourism. Tourism is our cash cow. And so tourism and hospitality. And I wanna make a point here that when we talk about tourism and hospitality, that's not just hotels and restaurants and travel tours. It's a whole value chain. If you think about someone who is who has a chicken farm somewhere in Nyagatare, for instance, because of COVID, if they wouldn't be able to provide the eggs to the restaurants here in Kigali or the hotels, those hotels wouldn't be able to serve omelette to their clients. So that directly means that that person who has a chicken farm is part of the value chain. So if you talk about the tourism and hospitality, it's not just limited to those that we see or travelers or people who sleep at hotels or restaurants. It's wide. If you think about people who are facilitating the payment systems to these restaurants, you know, those are part of the chain. So fintech, digital solutions, the part of the value chain, highlighting it so that you can understand that if you talk about a sector like that, an industry like that, there's many more sectors that you can dive into to actually be creative and innovative and come up with solutions. If you are in a country like Rwanda, this is going to continue to be our cash cow. So anything that is done is always relevant. Anything that is digital, like e-commerce or some digital solutions, digital platforms, they're going to be relevant because Rwanda is moving on to be a digital hub in East Africa. So that is always going. People now want to stay home and order their stuff from their houses. Nobody wants to walk to the store because that's over the past how many years? 20 years, that's what Amazon has been creating. So in a few years to come, Rwandans will also be responding in that manner. And I would say that no matter what sector you are in, no matter what industry you're operating in, your key success metric is going to be how you, not metric, but factor, is going to be how you observe your customers' behaviors and respond to their needs, whatever sectors you are in.
All right, thank you so much, Mr. Isidore. I would really also like to hear from AMI because, of course, you engage with entrepreneurs, you provide trainings and the likes. What areas do you think that are going to be really attractive post-COVID or even currently? What areas do you see young people getting to, you know, join in the most? when it comes to starting businesses?
Great. So I don't think my answer will be anyhow different, but so there is two things here. Is we are actually currently internally as well trying to sort of like make this study where we can we really try to understand what are businesses that are going to survive, and actually what are the areas that people should be investing in. So what I would say is that honestly, any business has the power to survive, and then any business has an opportunity to be successful. It's not about being, because the world is changing, that all technology businesses are going to be successful. But I will come to the point of how are you able to innovate and adapt in your business, and then how are you able to reach your target customers. So rather than saying everyone go to create a digital solution or everyone go in agriculture, is I would mainly really look this into more of like, what is your business idea, and then how will your business idea adapt to the current situation. So someone talked about a virtual tourism business. So that means hospitality and tourism is still a good business, but then how are you going to pivot your business? Is that what's going to make your business successful? Do you want to go in agriculture? Yes, you can still farm, but then how are you going to deliver your crops to the consumers? So I would not really emphasize on any particular business, but I would rather advise on looking at delivery models, innovation models that would help you reach and understand your customers. So of course, that said, we know that everything is going digital. So really looking into how can you enable your business to be more digital, that would be very helpful. When I'm talking about digital, I'm not only talking about how people reach to you, it's also about how internally, how you're managing your business digitally. Like, do you have tools that helps you to understand your crops in the farm? Do you have tools that helps you to understand your inventory, for example? Do you understand digital marketing, and then how are you advertising yourself? It's really not about just delivery systems. It's about making your business entirely digital.
All right, thank you so much. And that takes me to my next question. And I think somebody also, in one of the questions that was asked by Yo Mesiwoto, I hope I really pronounced your name correctly. The question was, do you have internship programs for students? And I also had a question that almost relates to that, but it's more broader, which is, what opportunities do exist in your company organization that aspiring youth entrepreneurs could take advantage of at the moment? I know AMI has already talked about things like the boot camp and the various programs, but even as you're answering this, can you also maybe touch on this particular question, like internships? Do you also offer internships? And I'm going to start with Equity Bank, and of course, everybody will have a chance to speak on this. So starting with Equity, opportunities, and also if you offer internships for students.
Well, thank you, Philip. I'm really loving this session. It's actually more enriching and very good question than I expected. And I hope we'll be having many of these, not once a year, if you agree with me. I really, really like, I don't think following the questions that are being answered, I don't think we'll have enough time to answer. As I was reading questions on the Q&A and chat panel, one quick business came on my mind, is for every student to become a digital ambassador. It's a program partnership that Equity Bank has done as a mandate with the Ministry of ICT. Digital Ambassadors is a program that will increase digital literacy for more than 5 million Rwandan citizens. And Equity Bank has come in to ease the whole process into providing easy solution. So you can easily become an agent of Equity Bank in Rwanda, and you earn easily a commission when you're still a student. How does it work? Every time you we have a solution on USSD. Whenever you open an account with your mobile phone, you are remunerated a certain commission fee. Whenever someone uses that account, whenever you help sell pay bill services, that means electricity, water, TV subscription, anything, you also earn a commission. So currently we have 92 digital ambassadors in the country that we're onboarding and training how to become an agent. The program is running until June 2024. This is something I thought to share quickly. In terms of internship, yes, we do offer internship. There's a program that we are soon starting under Equity Group Foundation that is more of a CSR related, where we'll be getting interns from ALU, from Kepler, with the partnership with Johnson International and other organizations. But we are willing to extend the same partnership with ISEC. I think we'll have an offline conversation with Philip on how to proceed about it and make introduction. I didn't know the platform is as big as what I found today, and very enthusiastic and engaging. So the screening process is a bit tough. It requires a lot of value integration, being a visionary leader, and we plan to onboard more than 1,200 in the first intake, and to be dispatched in different locations. And some of the services that they'll be doing is act as a bank agent or brand ambassador or digital ambassador, or even invest in their businesses. So the internship program is very long. We can have an offline session and discuss how to do this. Thank you. Over.
All right. Thank you so much, Mr. Christian. I'll move over to AMI because, of course, as you're talking about opportunities in AMI, Mr. Malik, you also touched on one of the questions by Keza Diane, who said, if you do offer internships in AMI, if, of course, that's something that you do, what does it require to get an internship from AMI? Because she was particular about where she wanted it from.
Thank you. We definitely do offer internships, but currently I would say that the opportunity is not that much. However much we are hiring, if you go to our website, where we usually post all of these opportunities, which is www.africanmanagers.org, you may be able to see some of the position available for anyone either being in Rwanda or any other country where we currently are, which is Nairobi, Uganda, South Africa, Nigeria. But even so, then we do, again, as I said, have these different programs that we encourage people to apply to. So, yeah.
Thank you so much, Mr. Malik. ESPartners, what opportunities? Do you also offer internships in your organization, Mr. Isidore?
Yeah, we do offer internships, very limited, but we do offer internships when it's a high peak season. However, I think a much bigger opportunity lies in our incubation program. I mentioned something called Tourism Inc., which is an incubation, a 6-month incubation program that works with businesses that are less than 3 years old. It could be also a business idea, but basically it has to, the 3 things you have to fulfill, three criteria are, you could be a Rwandan or a foreigner, but have a business operating here in Rwanda, or have a business idea you want to implement here in Rwanda. You have to be a young person, so between 18 years old and 35. And your business has to be in a tourism and hospitality value chain. It's not an industry, it's a value chain. That makes it wider, like I explained earlier on. And so right now we have graduated 2 cohorts. We are currently running the 3rd one and recruiting for cohort number 4. So I am right now going to put a link here once again for those of you who have business or business ideas who you would want to apply into a program to see if you can get in. I encourage you to do so, and feel free to contact us if you have any questions. But basically what it is that we select about 25 entrepreneurs each 6 months, and we make them go through a program of for 6 months, helping them with skills and tools they need to run their businesses. We also give them grants to prototype their businesses. So if you get in, we'll give you some amount of money to go and test the viability or feasibility of your idea. And off of those 25 people, after testing, after reporting about their testing, their prototype activities, then we choose those who advance to pitching for what we call seed funding. Seed funding, which could be up to, for an average of $12,000 that we invest in your business. So it's not, I don't want to frame it as free money, it's a competition. As you can understand, there's a lot of applications, but there's only 25 seats every 6 months. Even for those 25 people, there's only about 5 people who are going to win the seed funding. But those are opportunities that lie in that literally in front of your hand. It could be you. It could be you. So I encourage people to really look around and get informed of everything that's going on, being ESP, AMI. There's also many more that were not able to come here, like Harambe, like, you know, there's so many programs that are there helping young people, especially to recover from this pandemic. But particularly for ESP, we have that is very specific to young entrepreneurs.
All right, thank you so much, Mr. Isidore. And before you go, I think there's a question you kind of like touched on, but maybe you can make it more clear, because somebody had asked, that was Bonisiwe Kumalo, said that in regards to that incubation program, can international students apply for it, fund and run businesses in Rwanda? I think maybe
Yes.
you can also clarify on that a little bit.
Yeah. If you are, it doesn't matter you're a Rwandan or a foreigner, the only requirement is that you run your business here in Rwanda. So you can start your idea, you can implement your business here, create jobs, create money, but it has to be running in Rwanda. So as long as it is running in Rwanda, it doesn't matter where you're from.
All right, thank you so much. And yes, now we move into another question. We have about 14 minutes left, 11 minutes actually left for us to end this panel discussion. And I would like to know, we as young people, and let's say we, you know, like we want to be able to get into entrepreneurship and all that. Like we would like to know, like based on your perspective, you know, for the past 1 year working with young people, especially within this COVID-19 situation, what lessons should we learn in terms of, you know, aspiring youth entrepreneurs? What lessons have you learned in your engagement with young people that we could be able to use and probably navigate the ambiguity that COVID-19 has brought when it comes to entrepreneurship? I would like us to start with AMI, and we move to Equity, then ESPartners.
Sorry, I missed your question. Can you please repeat again?
Yes, so the question is, as you know, of course, COVID-19 has hit. There's a lot of ambiguity when it comes to this, the pandemic, and, you know, what to do and what not to do. So we would like to know, as young people, we are aspiring to be youth entrepreneurs. We want to get into the entrepreneurship journey. What lessons have you learned interacting with young people that we can be able to take as we also start this venture into the entrepreneurship journey?
Okay, thanks. So maybe in the last 15 years or 10 or so, I have had a chance to interact with a lot of young people at my age and even younger as I was growing. And the most successful things I've seen in more successful businesses from young people are the more courageous you are, the more successful you are. And I'm actually really glad to sort of like give you two very practical examples. I remember about 5 years ago when Motions, if you're in Rwanda, you know Motions, the brand, when he actually started when he was at university, and he was doing technical school at one of our IPRC school. And when he started doing that, he would actually call you and deliver an outfit at your workplace or at your home or wherever where you will be. But he had that courage to start when he was at university. And then when he graduated, I don't think his path was that easier, but he decided also to keep focus and say, this is my only focus and this is what I'm going to do. And I am going to find success in this. So every time when you have courage to start, and you also have courage to focus, because one of the challenge that we get, and then we also see this in our day-to-day at Africa Management Institute, is when you cannot choose between a full-time job and your side hustle. So we understand it's sometimes hard to balance life, but also if you really want to be successful, you need to dedicate a really good amount of time to your business. As much as you see your business as a side hustle, your business will never be successful. So equally, the same amount you provide to your maybe full-time job or university classes, it's also the same amount of time you should really look into your business. So just to sum this up, I would say be more courageous and really focus on your goal.
All right, thank you so much, Mr. Malik. Mr. Christian from Equity.
Thank you. Very good insight from Malik. Thank you for the question also, Mr. Philip. What can I advise? Over 50% of the Rwandan population is under 20 years old, and the median age of the population is 22.7 years old. Urban areas have higher percentage of the youth. More than 80% of our young people live in rural areas. So the youth constitute almost 53% of the population within the capital. So for me, this is a very strong workforce. My advice or my key takeaway is that we can overcome these circumstances only through mutual cooperation, develop collective spirit, great social responsibility by organizations like Equity Bank, AMI, and ESP, and some MasterCard Foundation, UNCDF, and implementation of preventive measures. The crisis has already shown that humanity, we must develop social consciousness, which has usually become prominent in a situation of risk and threat. But what we need to do in such situation of uncertainty, panic, fear, special measures, people's spirit needs to be healthy in attitude and should be spatially preserved and be of paramount importance. In a nutshell, what I mean, the young people needs to be resilient. We need to have a calm attitude. We need to stay positive. We need to organize more and more online events like these, various interaction, competition, shows, tournaments, continue to educate themselves, but more and more stay resilient. But again, to reemphasize or to reiterate what I said, we cannot overcome what we are doing alone. People need to put mutual cooperation and develop collective spirit. By that, I mean going into saving groups, a different arrangement and all that. So we as Equity are happy to partner and stay a strong and long-term partner of ISEG. Thank you, Philip.
All right, thank you so much, Mr. Christian. Mr. Isidore, over to you.
I think Christian and Malik have said it all. My advice is twofold. One is be inquisitive, be observant. Everywhere you go, take a look at how people are behaving. Take a look at what they possibly are missing. Observe the experience. If you go to a restaurant, why are you frustrated? Maybe there's what you're lacking, but can that thing you're lacking, is it common to other people? Can you come up with a way to address it, to help the management realize that they're lacking of it, and then provide a way for them to address it and sell that solution to them. So be inquisitive, be observant, and look around and see how other people have really achieved what they have achieved. I think today we have internet, we have smartphone, but a lot of times as young people, what we do on them is just like Instagram, taking photos. We really could be using those tools and opportunities to enrich ourselves much more than we are doing today. And number two is entrepreneurship shouldn't be somewhere you go because you don't have something to do. It's not a sexy field. It's not supposed to be fun, at least for a very long time. So if you go into it, you best believe that you're going to really hustle, you're going to suffer. You have to have a goal you want to achieve. You have to have a vision you're working towards. Understand why you are really into it. Otherwise, if it's one of the, like maybe plan B, plan C, because you didn't get a job at company A, and then let me go to entrepreneurship, it's not always going to work, because like Malik said, if you treat it as a hustle, as a side job, it's not gonna work for you. And so it's very critical that you go into it because you have a cause, you have a solution you are addressing. That's what I have to share.
All right, thank you so much, panelists. It's 10:35, exactly when this panel discussion was supposed to stop. Thank you so much for all your insights. I see quite a number of questions are still coming in, especially when it comes to Equity Bank. Well, very good for you, because after 5 minutes, we're going to go into our workshop space, so we will still be with Equity, and all these questions can still be answered. But even regardless, keep sending in your questions. We are still in contact with AMI. We're still in contact with ESPartners. We can still manage to forward them your questions, get answers for you. We have you in our Telegram group. We have you on our emails. We can still reach out to you guys. And then for all the links that have been shared, one of my colleagues is actually taking them and putting them in the Telegram group. But even at the end of this event, we were going to send an email to all the delegates, all the people that registered and showed interest in attending this event. And all these things are also going to be part of that. So we're going to kind of like consolidate all these things and put them into that. So keep the questions coming in, keep the conversations happening. You can even follow them on their social media channels. We are also going to be sharing them that, but if you want to get it like really now, if you go to Equity Rwanda social media handles, we have actually tagged all our partners, and you can still forward them these questions, and I'm sure they'll be really happy to help you guys. So thank you so much, ESPartners. Thank you so much, AMI. And of course, thank you so much also Equity, although we're going to be together still. But before we go any further, there's a quick commercial break again from AMI, and I'm going to be sharing my screen of a video of course, some of the things I talked about, especially some of the programs they talked about. And so I'm going to be sharing my screen before we move into the workshop space. So, yes. Okay. so that was it. I'm sure the people can again send the link here, bit.ly/AMI-ISEC. So you can be able to actually register to be part of that AMI bootcamp. And Pascaline, can you help me share the link once again here? So that, you know, the people can also get the link and also start, you know, applying for this bootcamp once they can. So she's going to be doing that. Thank you so much, Pascaline. Other than that, Mr. Christian, it's now your turn if you want to share your screen, or do you want me to share for you for the workshop?
Yeah, I can share my screen.
Right, so let me give you the...
I mean, if I get
yes, you
post
have,
disabled,
you now have
maybe you, I now have, okay, let me try again. Okay, great.
all right.
Let me know if you can see my screen.
Okay, currently not yet.
Okay.
We can't see your screen yet.
Okay. I'll share it again. Maybe you can help me, Philip.
Okay, let me help you on my side. I think I have the document here. And I'll be pressing next. Okay. Present. Yes. Can you see the screen?
Great. Yeah, I can see. Thank you so much. Okay. Thank you again, Isaac. Thank you everyone for being there. Thank you for the opportunity given to Equity Bank for this workshop. It's a great opportunity for us to share about digital financial literacy presentation, especially in this Global Money Week. Next. My name is Christian Kageneri. Like they said, my background is more of engineering. I'm an engineer but, in electronics and telecommunication. I did my undergrad in Kigali Institute of Science and Technology a few years ago. I'm 38 years old, married with 2 children. I also did my master's, my MBA at ALU, Africa Leadership University School of Business. And that's where I met Isidore Iradukunda. He was then our operations manager, and I was glad again to see him on this panel. Today, I have converted it to digital financial services or digital channel, or what we can also call payment into the financial service sector. Next. A fun fact about myself. Go back a bit, Philip, is the fun fact about myself is that when I discovered that the heart is formed before the brain in the mother womb, I completely decided to behave the way I behave. I think with my heart and I speak with my heart. Next. So the objective for this workshop, I'll talk about digital payment and fintech space, what we have in equity and what we are planning to do. I'll talk a bit about saving products that I've been mentioning. I'll talk about the bank accounts that we have, student and junior accounts. I'll talk a bit about ideas, entrepreneurship ideas that we can do in agribusiness and e-commerce sector. And I'll resume with an overview on banking ways of working and how to leverage on it as an asset. Next. So the department I head, you have agency banking. Soon we are launching super agents. We have mobile banking, we have internet banking that are split into 2 products. One is called EasyBiz, and which is the corporate banking system. And then you have EasyNet, which is for individuals. We have card issuing business services. and you have merchant acquiring business, and you have e-commerce / payment gateway and social payment. In agency banking, we have the largest network of agents. That's where you can go and do cash in, cash out, account opening, and do pay bills, electricity, Rainbow services, RRA, Ejoheza, RSSB services, and so many. Basic. So the business model or the modus operandi of Equity Bank, which is 10 years in Rwanda and almost 38 years of existence in Kenya. And today we are the largest bank in Central Africa and East Africa, now expanding in West Africa and in the region of SADC. We have succeeded by banking the unbanked, reaching the last mile people. We started by mobile banking, driving Land Rovers. I'll share a picture shortly on the chat group where our first model was going in the most remote area and open a free maintenance bank account with a non-educated person. And it has succeeded. Even today, we use agency banking as a bridge to digital transformation. We use it as a channel to do deposit mobilization. And we also use it as a channel to do account opening and financial literacy. In our agency program, we do a lot of training and financial literacy. Mobile banking is one space that has grown quickly. Mobile banking and money transfer services, cross-border and money remittances. We have partners like World Remit, Western Union, RIA that we're launching soon this week, Remitly, TransferWise, and the list is long. We are the only exclusive partner of World Union, Western Union Online, or what we commonly call the ohu.com. We also do internet banking, I mentioned it. We do card issuing. We have a various product of cards. We do merchant acquiring. You will see POS machine. We are soon deploying Android POS, and that will give a gam of a lot of different Android POS and terminal management system. We do e-commerce. One thing that I want to promise from this partnership is that whoever will be screened by ISEC will get a preferential rate on when it comes to payment gateway. So we do acquiring with partners such as DPO, Flutterwave, VirtualPay, and so on. The list is growing at a very low rate, and we are in the process of partnering with PSF ICT Chamber and so many other ecosystems. We do social payments. By social payment through NGOs, I will mention the current partnership that we have with WFP, World Food Program, and UNHCR. We provide the cash-based program for all refugees and all people that are in transit in Rwanda, the cash management, and even people that return, Rwandans that return in the country and need financial literacy and financial channels and bank accounts. We are talking about more than 200,000 people that we've been servicing for the last 8 years. And we take pride of that because we don't just do it as a profit making a service, but also corporate social responsibility. Next. So when it comes to loan, we have the next one I'll talk about easy loan. We have the salary loan, which is for people that are employed. When you have easy loan, you get an easy loan instantly. You go on, you log in easy banking app. When you click to navigation, you will be able to log in. After you receive your salary for a few months, you can take a quick loan paid in a month, and they can serve repayment. We also have equipment and machinery. We have mortgage loan and plot purchase. This is a medium to long-term loan granted to customers for the purchase of a movable capital asset, mainly vacant. I think we lost the presentation. Okay. Mainly vacant for plots and developed properties. And this is an area I really want to encourage every student here. Once you graduate, please don't run to go buy a car. Even though I know it's convenience and all that, I'd rather encourage you to buy a scooter and buy a plot in Mugesera with the new upcoming international airport. Okay, so the benefit of it is that you can have an affordable interest rate and no hidden charges. You can be flexible in security requirement and repayment terms, and quick recovery or quick processing and disbursement program. The other loan that we have is business and development loan. We provide to you funds for working capital, all other businesses requirements. And here I want to encourage people to venture in the most ridiculous business. You can be a franchisee of Jibu, you can be a retailer of Jibu water or Inyange, or I don't know, LPG gas, Safe Gas, Mount Meru gas, as little business that you can do. And today, with the new adoption of digital services, you can receive payment on Momo, on EasyPay, or any other means, e-commerce, name it. We have overdraft current accounts, which allow customers to overdraw on their current account to meet unexpected needs, unexpected business short-term needs, and working capital. We have trade finance and products and solutions. That one means you can get a letter of credit, commonly known by LC for people already in business. You have guarantees and bonds. You have invoice discounting, similar that I have seen most independent organizations like benefactors are doing. The same service is available at the bank at a very lower rate. We have LPO financing. That means if you get a purchase order and we do due diligence, or what I can call enhanced due diligence of the organization, if it's a reputable organization and we can get recommendation, we can finance the purchase order. It's something we are doing for so many organizations, and we can give you references. We also do post-import finance. I can also explain in detail if you reach out to me. We have other products called Igire na equity loan product for women and youth. So this is, I think, where I'll do a copy paste and share with you details from our product book. And I promise to share this with the senior management of ISEC so that you can share with all registered members. We have the group lending, and this is where, to reiterate what I mentioned earlier, that we want people to come into group. That's called, one of the products is called Zamuka. This is the product designed for women in group who are in a very small micro enterprises and willing to start profitable micro enterprises. When I say women, I also mean youth. The product will provide financial and non-financial services. The program will also provide working capital loans for youth and women in micro income generating activities. Use of group guarantee as a collateral substitute. We also do target new and existing women and youth group. The second group is called, the second product I mean is Terimbere. We have localized them in Kenya, Rwanda. This product provides working capital loans for youth and women in micro income generating activities. So it will, the product will, groups will be referred to as Igire na Equity Enterprise Club, or Women Enterprise Club, or Youth Enterprise Club. And it will have a membership of between 5 to 15 individuals. The club must have an operative account with Equity Bank Rwanda, an ability and willingness to save at least 1,400 per person on a weekly basis to the club. This is a very interesting product for students, It requires discipline, and I think I mentioned it when I talked about the saving culture. Another product is individual lending. It's another category. It's called Tinyuka. This is a product designed for women and youth, again, in medium and SME, large enterprise, to support the growth for business. The product can give you up to 700,000 Rwandan francs and a maximum loan of 3.5 million Rwandan francs, a minimum repayment period of 12 months and maximum repayment of 24 months. It's very competitive in terms of interest rate. Prior saving account not mandatory, but encouraged. Why do we encourage this? The more savings you have, the lower rate you can negotiate, because the bank can use it as a collateral, your saving, or even a plot. EUBK is another product under individual banking products or individual loans. This is a credit product specifically designed for women entrepreneurs. The loan is for business purpose in form of working capital and business expansion based on borrowers. The business with 50 to 100 women ownership, women and youth. The maximum loan amount is 3.5. The maximum loan amount is 20 million. The minimum is 3.5 and the maximum is 20 million. And of course, in these cases, we need to have a collateral. The repayment period is 36 months or 3 years. You have also Ikizere, Sugira, and so on. These are, in a nutshell, saving products or investment products when it comes to working with equity. Next. So bank accounts, I think I mentioned it earlier. We do have so many accounts, like I've been answering to so many questions, and I really like the engagement of the team. It's more than expected. 1 second. When it comes to bank account, we have Diaspora Banking for people that are out of the country, but they'd like to have an account in Rwanda where they can invest in different assets. One of them is you can bank anytime with online banking. You can also get a loan and build a house in Rwanda. If you're living abroad, you can transfer money home affordably. You can open an account also wherever you are. We also have different money transfer services that I mentioned under the same product. When it comes also to account opening, we also have bank insurance, where you can purchase insurance under equity scheme at a very low rate. Now, to mention a bit quickly, 6 account types that I mentioned here, I'll be very quick, not to take much of your time. I know you have a lot of questions. We have the Isange account. It can be opened in the name of a person, joint names, registered group, and registered business names. It's a convenient and medium accumulating personal deposit, business transaction for remittance like a pension, or farm proceedings like tea, coffee, milk, cereals, pythons, among other agriculture products. You have the personal current account, which can the personal account which can fall under the social institution account, and the business current account, junior account, cold and fixed access deposit, safe and secure place for your money. For the sake of time, I will not read each of them. I trust ISEC to convey the same message or whatever product that will give. I think the most important part is what I just mentioned in terms of investment and kind of savings group that people can put together. I also want to answer a question that was asked on the chat group, is what are the requirements to be an agent? We have 3 types of agents. The first one is the most commonly known. You need to have a physical location. You need to first open an account with us. You need to have a physical location in your area where you can drive deeper financial inclusion using our innovative technologies. The agency banking model is that you do account opening, origination. You can do active or dormant accounts. You can do deposit and withdraw cash. You can make balance inquiries and generate mini statement. You also facilitate payments, buy goods and services without cash. You can buy airtime, school fees, and rent, payments for power, / electricity, water, taxes, and TV subscription. You can also do money transfer. It's a space that has grown, especially in the COVID period. You can send and receive money locally. You can also do international transfer, international money transfer through the commonly known Western Union, MoneyGram, and World Remit, and also RIA. The benefits to the society, it's deeper financial inclusion, of course, like I've been saying, greater savings for both financially and in terms of productive time for the agent and for the person accessing financial services in their neighborhood, development of local economies, healthier and progressive communities. We also have a subcategory to agent where you can be a freelancer agent. You can, by using your phone, you can open an account for as many people as possible. And for us to know, you need to register. You register the different details. We do KYC, your name, your location, your ID, your phone number, the kind of job that you do. And when you're registering an account as an identifier, we ask you to put either your mobile number, the one you use or commonly used, or your ID number, the national ID number, so that whenever you're opening an account, we can pull a report and know who opened an account for who per day, and you get a commission at the end of the month. So the commission is performance-based, how many accounts you open, and then you get a minimum fees varying between 200 and 500 Rwandan francs per account open. So if you open 100 accounts, you easily earn 50,000 Rwandan per day. So it depends on how aggressive you are. And our solution can open instant accounts. So we represent services and we work in distribution models, and we do access to contracting retail outlets such as pharmacies, supermarket, and convenience stores to represent the bank where there are no bank branches. Next. So in terms of business, we encourage sectors that are booming. One of them is the e-commerce space. There are different ways to do e-commerce. You can either build an e-commerce shop online for cosmetics, for clothing. The textile industry in Rwanda is growing. There's also energy, retailers. You can also create a marketplace. We have so many designers currently where you aggregate and recruit people that are not digitally educated, but still do businesses, and you earn a commission. On agribusiness, it's an area I would have encouraged ISEC to call people that are in the same sector, but it's also growing. And I will tell a story of Shikama and so many other people. You realize for someone that is buying a product from the farmer, the price when it arrives to Kigali sometimes is 50 times higher. If you can reduce that value chain by providing an online marketplace between the seller and the consumer, and you partner with a logistic company, this is a business model that I will encourage. On a higher end, there's a need for micro loans or digital loans for agri-business smallholder farmers. These are little as $30 up to $100, or providing seed. Seed is an area of agriculture that has very high demand. How to use the bank? You need to be financially educated on how to partner with the bank, what product you have. I encourage sessions like this one, and I'll be willing to answer as many questions as you want. The mistake I did when I graduated is I did not invest as much as I can into asset in Rwanda. My level of understanding of financial literacy was very low. So I hope everyone here will take an opportunity to grow and understand the value proposition that is out of this. We encourage partnership, like I said, especially when you're still young. your capital asset is still low. So there are two ways to grow by it, either by creating saving groups or investment groups, or by participating in winning award programs organized by organizations such as AMI or ESP. Next, I think this was the last slide. I'm willing to receive Q&A session or any question, either within this session or after. I'll ask Pascaline or Philippe to share my number and continue to engage. Thank you so much, Philippe.
All right, thank you so much for your presentation. I think we can go into the questions and see if we have any questions in this regard. So the question is, I would like to know what is required for being an agent of Equity Bank. I think you touched on that. Or do you want to say something else? Uramutse Sabine had asked that question. I want one. How can one be a co-founder of the business? Okay, this was addressed to AMI. Please, Mr. Christian, is there any loan given to students who want to finance their postgraduate program? Somebody asked that question. And another one is there any loan given to students for financing, okay, postgraduate studies again? So maybe if you can tackle that question, because I see two people asked about it. We can't hear you. I think you're muted.
Oh, sorry, Philip. How to become an equity agent? I'm happy to repeat it again. I think I mentioned it. But yes, you can become an equity agent by one. You can easily be, as a student when you're still at school, become a freelancer agent by doing account opening. So you get a basic commission of as small as 200 Rwandan francs, between 200 and 500. And it's a performance-based commission. It varies from how many accounts you've opened. If you dial, even now as we are speaking, I'd like few people to make the experiment. If you dial 555 and you get the ID person of the person that is next to you, you can open an account. I'm going to put my number there. Let me know. I'll make sure you get the commission. That's my number. You can always WhatsApp me. And by then you become our agent. That is easy way. If you have a physical premises, and that means maybe not you because you're still a student, I don't know how you will be able to do that. It will require you to either enroll your parents, for those who still have their parents. I mean, your dad or your mom, if they're not doing anything. You can use your mom if they have a small shop, or your dad a small shop, what we call in Kinyarwanda, boutique yo muri quartier. And we give you forms to fill. The form is 1 page or 2 pages only, where you put your name, your physical address, the type of business that you do, and you get a recommendation or screening from the local authority, umukuru w'isibo, umukuru w'umudugudu, and umukuru wa Kagari, so that they give you a recommendation of who you are. Because you're transacting money of people, credibility matters a lot, and reputation. And then you do as many as possible services, like I mentioned. One of them is cash in, cash out, account opening, active dormant account, deposit, and withdraw cash services. You make balance inquiries, and people can get mini statements. You can also do pay bill, buy goods and services, buy airtime, school fees, and rent. People can pay school fees. Today we are doing school fees collection for Mount Kenya and Davis College. Soon we are approaching ALU. We can also do payment of electricity, water, RRA, and TV subscription. You can also do money transfer. And why am I mentioning all these services? You earn a commission from all these services by doing it. I'm sure equity is quite popular to most people here. And so it won't really, I really don't want to delay in this area. I just spotted what kind of benefits you get out of it. Can we finance someone that wants to finish their study? Yes, we can. There is a program that is done in Kenya. It's called Wings to Fly. It has been there for more than 15 years. We have actually the first managing director of Equity Rwanda, Mr. Kirubi, was a beneficiary of the school fees program. So Wings to Fly, we pay school fees for people, for young people that are smart with high scoring grades in secondary school. And when they finish the best student again, they stand an opportunity to get a scholarship for top university in Kenya and in Rwanda. So the program has been running in Kenya and it's quite impressive. Currently, Equity Rwanda is paying school fees for more than 16,000 students in the world. The program is going to be extended in Rwanda. Like I mentioned it earlier, we are going to kick off with more than 1,200 students. You need to be eloquent, you need to be very good at school in your grades, because we'll be taking top-notch students from various institutions. It's still at a very early stage, but this is a total separate program from Equity Bank Rwanda, but it's a wing to Equity. It's our CSR program. It's called Equity Group Foundation. We are looking at meeting different people. As we are speaking, I have immediately conveyed the message to our head of strategy, and that is in charge of that program. And she's very excited about this platform, and she said she will reach out to you. So I will leave the management of this platform to Philip and Isaac Rwanda to engage further after this call. Thank you.
All right, definitely we're going to be doing that. You know, we still have access to all these young people that are here. We're going to send them an email thereafter, and we're going to be able to put all these ideas into one good booklet so that they can be able to even know how to reach out further. And we are always willing, of course, to always connect young people to such amazing opportunities. So most definitely, this is a task that we can be able to take forward. Somebody called Innocent, they said something, and probably you would like to touch on it. And I think it's a question that always comes up each and every time. They say that for you to give a loan, you talked about things that you look at the size of the business, the mobile money movements. I think he meant the transactions that happen there. And some of these young people that have small business, of course, here, maybe they have not managed to reach that threshold, like that amount that Equity Bank probably needs to see in terms of movements. And he's asking, is there another way to go about this whole issue of collateral, you know, for a young business, for a small business? And I've had this question before, and I would like to also hear your views on that in that regard.
Unfortunately, there are no ways to go about it. There's no such magic where people give free money. We live in a very capitalist world where people give you money and they need to know what's in for them. I will still go with what I said earlier. The best way first is to adhere to programs like ISEC. A platform like this will give you access to finance directly or indirectly, because then the reputation of ISEC becomes the collateral to the bank. ISEC will help to do screening of potential bankable businesses. The second way is approaching the bank as a group. Allow me to put it in Rwanda. You need to come as a group. And like I said, you need to be, let's say, 5 to 15 people. You can easily grow a capital when you put together. This is a culture that exists already in Rwanda, and the word Ivimina or Ikimina, some of them are digitalized and others are not. But we have been doing it the traditional way. What Equity is going to do, we want to digitalize it or to make it more electronic and put legal framework and accountability around them. For people that default, how do we create that accountability? One of them is that the saving is mandatory. when you don't stop saving, you are ejected from the group. Secondly, we take insurance on defaulters, though we don't encourage defaulters. Thirdly, we give a very minimum contribution, which does a credit scoring. So easily, when I do a quick math, if you manage to save, let's say 1,000 and you're a group of 15 people, that's mean 15,000 per week times 4. We are talking about 60,000 easily. By end of 6 months, you can be eligible of a loan of 6 million. So what can you do with 6 million? You can easily purchase a taxi voiture, painted with all papers, and that can be giving you an income of 200 to 300,000 Rwandan francs. That's how you can easily create value, and Equity will be extremely happy to finance beyond that car. So then we can use the car as a collateral, and because we have been observing consistency and discipline in your saving behavior, the credit loan increases. And I'll give you a story of Gikonho. Gikonho have a cooperative, a small microfinance that was started by rice value farmers. Now, what they did, people collect from smallholder farmers their harvest, and they wanted to upgrade their plantation. Cyangwa inyongeramusaruro, if you can put it in Kinyarwanda. And the first time we gave them, they asked for 100 million, and they are able to pay it back in a period of 6 months. Yet they had asked for a year. And later on, they asked for 300 million. They were also able to pay it back in a period of 3 months, actually, earlier than that. Now, the conversation is no longer the cooperative or the microfinance coming to ask for money. I personally had to go visit them, and we are begging them to give them more than 300. Why? The business is profitable. Secondly, people are disciplined because that is their livelihood. They live by it. They cannot afford not to pay the bank because they are making profit out of it. So there is no shortcut to getting finance. It requires discipline. It requires going into groups or having a saving culture. Over to you, Philip.
All right, and we have 2 more questions, and actually 3 more. One is from Manishine Lamek. He was asking, is there any minimum amount required for you to be an equity agent? That is starting capital. Is there any minimum amount required?
Yes, there is. There is a minimum amount. You need to have 80,000 Rwandan francs. That is for agents that have premises. Huh? Mm-hmm. When you are a freelancer agent, you don't need any minimum capital. You just need your phone, USSD feature phone or a smartphone, whichever. But if you have a premise and you want to be an agent, what you need to have the subscription fees. That means 80,000 Rwandan francs. This is a one-time fee. Why we need that? We install solutions on your devices. Mm-hmm. Those solutions come with a license. The second, we give you free of charge a POS machine that can help you doing transaction. We also set up money transfer solution that come from a third party, like Western Union and so on, like I mentioned on the list. So the 80K. And then you need a revolving float that is a minimum of 100,000 Rwandan francs. I'll type them on the group when I finish talk. But 180,000 Rwandan francs, you can easily become an agent and easily make a profit margin per month up to 1 million Rwandan francs commission, depending on busy area. And I will tell you a very good story. During lockdown, because of social distancing and banks had to stop for a moment, one of our agents were making between 2 and 4 million commission. He's called Kiza. He's in Kabuga. If you go see him, he behaves like an Equity employee. He's been with Equity for the last 10 years, and every day The only business where we don't go after people are queuing to become our agent, is the business of agency banking and money transfer. So I really, really encourage students either to be a physical fixed agent if you have any location, or you become a freelancer agent. I think that's one. The later one is an opportunity that we'll discuss with ISEC. Thank you.
All right, and then another one was about the scholarship that you talked about. They were saying if you could share the link, and I think maybe you can share it with us, or you can even put it if you readily have it in the chats. But if you don't have it readily available, we can also include it in the output that we are going to be sending out to them. That was a question from Jean Didier Habiman. And then another one is more or less personal, but I think a lot of young people that aspire to eventually become people like you would also ask this question. And this is what Muzima and Akrizolog said. He said that as young graduates, we face a lot of challenges when trying to get employed in any organization due to the lack of experience. So can you please share with us your experience on how you became a banker and advise him, and I think a lot of other people that are also not only maybe in banking, but even in other areas, you can advise on the real way to pass through. He emphasized on the real way to pass through so that I can become a banker. Thank you. That was his question.
I'm smiling because this is a very good question. My story is weird. I did my high school in Etomuhima. The school was then, I think most of you were still young, where you see downtown. What you call downtown today was a school. That's where I did my undergrad. So I did Mécanique Générale, and then I did electronics and telecommunication. So I started making money as early as when I was 17 or 15. So what I'll do, how to make money, I'll go and do electric installation for household or during exhibition, expo, what you call expo at Saint-André, then the school Nyamirambo, and later on Gikondo, and so on. And I'll make 20, 15K per installation. Then when I finished, I learned how to do computer cleaning, hardware cleaning, and doing software installation. And again, I think most of you don't know what I'm going to talk about, but we are doing installation of Internet Explorer, Windows 98, and Active Directory, mail support, internet connectivity. So I don't remember the last time I asked my parents to buy me clothes or to buy me a phone or to buy me airtime or to give me transport. And later on, I went to Kigali Institute of Science and Technology. I continued electronics and telecommunication. And even then I was doing part-time job. So I would mix what I just do, what I was doing. I stopped basically doing electric work and electronics, but actually shifted into event management as well, part-time. So we'll do event management. I was a top lead team for events in Serena. I think the only premises then was Serena. And yeah, and I was mixing again with school. I don't want to encourage that practice. It's a very bad practice. I'll encourage you to focus on school. How then did I ended up into the bank? I started as an IT engineer in RDB ICT. That was my first job, official job. And then they encouraged me to go into sales because they would see my communication skills and interpersonal skills and sales skills. Then when my line manager asked me, who is my friend today, he told me I can do it. I never envisaged in my life to be a commercial person. So I moved into it. And one way and another, it led me to different places. Airtel, from Airtel, I went to Ericsson, Zambia, Swaziland, and Rwanda. It was an East Africa regional position. And that's where I got a passion of digital space and digital services products and product development, new sales, pre-sales, and after-sales support, and top-notch global technology services. And then I was approached by Equity Bank to come and head that department and drive innovation. Where I am today, I don't boast about it. It's a lot of God leading my steps. I like saying Jeremiah 10:23, that is not for a man in his journey to lead his step. I've seen God leading my steps. I cannot boast about it, and I'm happy to where I am. But more of that, what I can give as a key takeaway is that can-do attitude. You need to be extremely humble. You need to be solution-oriented. You need to be extremely aggressive in what you do. I have seen people who are lazy. I've seen young people who have a lot of entitlement that want to call themselves expert after 1 year of experience. I think this is a millennial disease that we need to correct. I want people who are extremely passionate, and I want people who talk with passion when they're selling themselves. That is a positive thing with our generation. But what I really want to emphasize again is that can-do attitude and humility to learn, and willing to do anything. When you're still at entry level as a staff or a junior staff, your line manager, you're still in a self-discovery mode. They will push everything to you. Not that they want to push you into slavery mode, but they want you to discover yourself. That is one. But secondly, they want to see your potential. How many things can you handle at such a young age? So don't reject it, accept it all, learn how to do prioritization, and learn how to discover yourself. Have a feedback session with your line manager day to day and ask, what am I doing best? What do you think I can improve? Something that I don't see, the relationship between line manager and reportees. It's very rare that you will see a young staff that will come and say, what do you think I'm doing wrong? What can I improve? In a nutshell, that's where I am today. Of course, like I said before, you never know how things go on. If you tell me today I'll be a banker, I have never planned for it, never. I actually thought from my early age, if you follow my story with the Tomohima Akist, that I'll be an entrepreneur today, but I'm not. I still consider that as a career path, and maybe ISEC will help me after this session. I feel again energized by the questions I'm reading on the chat. Over.
All right, thank you so much, Mr. Christian. And actually, as you were mentioning some of the values, it's really amazing that some of the values that we build here in ISEC. So we majorly have 4 values. One of them is, of course, we want young people that get to benefit from ISEC, either as members or even those who get to go through our internship program, to be global citizens. That is, you're aware of what's happening around the world. We believe that it's not just about what you think you know about in your immediate environment. There's always a correlation between people that get to be aware of what's happening in other cultures, communities, those who have traveled, to actually have even more ideas to be able to come up with different things. And another one is, of course, solution-orientedness, which you mentioned about, which we are always trying to figure out solutions. Like COVID has been happening, but ISEC has been running, even through COVID, we have been still doing activities like nothing stopped. And that's another value that we also push for in our organization. And self-awareness, which you also talked about, because we believe, and one thing that I forgot to mention when I was giving my welcome speech is that I also did agriculture, but I've done project management in ISEC. I was actually project manager of ISEC in Rwanda in 2018, 2019. I became the business development manager of ISEC in Ghana last year, before I actually came back here to be a country director of ISEC, and I did agriculture. So one thing that we don't like to limit people, that since you're in finance, you can only do the things related to finance, so you can be in the finance department. We believe that as you navigate through the various opportunities, then your inner self is able to identify, okay, this is what I'm passionate about. This is what I want to do, you know? And of course, another value is empowering others, because we are an organization that is purely run by youth. You know, the only big people we have is our board, but our board doesn't run everything. We the young people are the ones that run everything of this organization, and we always like to create opportunities for other young people, and that is how we empower others. So I think ISEC is also a good opportunity. I mean, for the person who asked that question, or even for everybody else who is not in ISEC. ISEC has really changed my life, like where I am right now. I think if they need more information, you can really reach out to me. And thank you so much, Mr. Christian, for also sharing part of your story and how, you know, you have navigated through and you're where you are. And we believe probably we're going to have more success stories. Maybe one day you're going to meet one of the attendees and, you know, you're going to share stories 10 to 15 years from now. And they're going to be like, your story inspired me, and here, this is where I am currently. So thank you so much, Mr. Christian. So that marks the end of the workshop space. Keep the questions coming in. You can even put them in the Telegram group. The Telegram group that we have, if you still have questions, even way after the session, please put them there. There will be somebody who will be checking those questions so that we can be able to get your questions forwarded to the relevant people, especially from our panelists. So I would like to say thank you so much, Mr. Christian from Equity, and we're looking forward to a long working relationship with the organization, even in other fields. And I would like to give you maybe one last few minutes to give your last words before we can proceed to the other session of the agenda.
Thank you, Philip. Thank you, Malik. Thank you, Isidore, I think he's gone. Thank you, Pascaline. I really want to appreciate Pascaline Yodusenga. She's a very patient human being. She's been very patient with Equity Bank. Oh, it's good to see your face, Pascaline. We hadn't met. I really apologize for not responding sometimes of your calls. It's been a hectic week at Equity Bank, but I didn't notice how big the platform it is. I'm very happy to work with you, either me or other colleagues from Equity Bank. I'll be glad to be ambassador internally. I'll stay in touch. We really, as Equity Bank, and on behalf of the managing director, Mr. Hannington Namara, we really want to extend our promised long-term partnership with ISEC. We believe you are the future of this country. Like I mentioned in statistics, the potential you have, we will definitely reach out to you. I also want to encourage everyone that is a member of ISEC to stay in touch. And whoever has come that is not yet a member, I strongly encourage them to be part of it. Mushonje, muhishiwe, Imana ibahe umugisha. Murakoze cyane.
Thank you so much.
Wow.
Thank you. All right, so you guys are going to hear from Pascaline. She's one of the, actually she's the person behind all these things that you see. Me, I'm just here talking, but she managed to get all these things in place, and she's going to be speaking to us during the closing space. But before I allow Pascaline to speak, let me also introduce you guys to another person that is also very crucial to this Global Money Week. That is none other than Mr. Malik, who is going to tell us about the social media challenge and other amazing things. So Mr. Malik, you're welcome.
All right. Hello, people. How are you doing? I hope that I can be heard well. Okay, so let me just share my screen. Just give me some few seconds. Are you guys excited for Global Money Week? Are you excited as we are? I just want to see comments for people in the chat box. Are you guys excited? All right, so I hope that you can see my screen, right? Okay. All right, so as it's running, I think most of you, for those who have applied to be part of this event, you already know about this because we have sent it to everyone. So my name is Maliki Uwase. I'm the current marketing director for ISEC in Rwanda, but I'm also in charge of outgoing exchange program. I think Philip has talked about it, about internship programs. So I'm actually the one responsible for that, to actually send people from Rwanda to do internship abroad. And also something else that you guys should also know is that I'm going to be the next country director for ISEC in Rwanda starting by July. Actually, that's where I'm going to start my ISEC term, and I'm going to take over Philip. So straightforward, what I want to kind of like remind is actually about ongoing social media challenge, and I'll also tell you a bit about the engagement plan, but I will also have an award around that. So let me just go straight to the criteria. So I think at least now you know me, and I'm the current person who's actually managing social medias for ISEC in Rwanda. And I'm actually working around the contents and everything. So I'm actually the person behind the content for these particular events. So as you can even see on the screen, we have also looking into how can we be able to engage with people who are going to be participating, because what you're doing right now, it's more about impact, you know. We also wanted to involve participants in a way that they also needs to be involving into this, because all the things that you're doing, it's around financial literacy. We actually want to share our expertise. That's why we even like bring different partners to come and share their expertise around financial literacy. What can everyone do to actually even like get started with a business, and especially for those who have a business, what can they do to actually grow their businesses? So basically, these are the social media criteria for those of you who wants to win awards. Something that you guys should know is that we really have an amazing awards for those people who are going to win. So straight into like, we have different KPIs for different social medias. And just like a reminder for Twitter, if you want to get award, at least for Twitter, you need to have 10 tweets, and you need to have 15 retweets for each tweet, and also 15 likes for each tweet. And going into Facebook, so for Facebook, you need to have at least 10 posts created. You need to have 50 likes, and you also need to get shared by 15 people. So when it goes to Instagram, it's just 10 posts created. I mean, like, you need to make sure that you create 10 contents around Global Money Week, and just like 10, and you also need to get 60 people likes per post. And also LinkedIn is just, for those who use LinkedIn, is just 10 posts that needs to be created. Each post needs to get 15 likes, and just like get like 10 people to share your post to their fellow people that they are like they have connected with. So basically that's it. And also something else that I would like to add on is actually there are people who have advanced in this social media challenge. We can see that, and keep it up for those of you who are actually doing that, who are already involved into this challenge. And also just like a reminder for the rest of participants also participate in this, because if you can't also win, at least you have a content around, you know, like you really have a good content on your social medias. So it's not only about winning prizes, getting money and all, it is also about having a good content to your social media. So I just wanted to tell you that it is still possible because we can see progress of some of the people. And I can even let you know that basically right now we are really focusing on Twitter and Instagram because this is actually social medias that young people like to use. And also looking at more people are just like into this challenge by, like using those two social medias. So I think just like use the social media that you're really comfortable with, but don't just forget about the key performance in the results that at the end of the day want for you to be able to win the prize. And most of you might even ask yourself, okay, where can I get content? What kind of content do I have to be posting on social medias? It's just simple. How you do it, look at even what we have been discussed, what has been discussed about for today, for this day, and just like make sure that you create content around that. There is something that you have noted from Mr. Malik from MI. Like you can just tweet something like that and just post it, and also you can even do research on Google or any other search engine that you might prefer, just like to see more inside, like to kind of like do more research about financial literacy. It is also going to give you more chance to actually win this challenge. And basically, we have also made it easy for especially people already in the Telegram group. We have created a poster that has your picture. You can as well use that. You can even like get some contents that we are currently using and then you use it to your social media. So I just wanted to explain a little bit about the issue of contents that some of you have been asking about. And just like the last reminder about the social media, don't just forget to tag our partners, ESP, Equity Bank, and also Africa Management Institute. So don't forget to tag them. You can as well find their handle to our social media pages. So that's it about the social media. And also something else that we have for you. I don't know, probably some of you, it's your first time to get to know about Kahoot challenge, or even like getting to know what is Kahoot, because I know that there's also something that you guys don't know about it. But basically it's a way of engaging you guys. So which means that here we're going to be testing your knowledge, okay? In terms of like these panel discussions, workshop, keynotes that have been delivered throughout this event, and also to kind of like make sure that you attend, just like make sure that you attend all activities to win this challenge, because the failure to attend all these sessions, discussions and all, it will not allow you to actually win the Kahoot challenge. And also one of the requirements for you to actually win for this, it is going to happen actually yesterday as you're also getting to the end of event. So basically, it's a quiz. You will need to have your at least 2 devices. One device should be connected here because you will get to see questions on the screen here. And also you will have to have another device on the side that you're going to be using to actually be participating in the challenge, in the quiz questions and answering things. So that's what you only required to do. And we're also going to be awarding the best winners for Kahoot. And just like it's always better to kind of like remind you for this, because it's very important for you to be attentive so that you can win, because most of the questions that are going to be asked here, they are questions that related to what has been discussed here. I think that's it in regards to Kahoot. Let's see if there is anybody with the question. Let me just stop sharing my screen. Anybody with a question? Let me check. All right, so I can see some people they can't wait to see Kahoot because they are ready to win. Good to Cedric. Yeah, so if there is no question, let me just scroll down to see if there is a question. Yeah, so if you have a question, just type it so that I can answer it. Emilia has a question, you can just type it. That's the only way for me to answer it. But then if you also have some other people who might even have questions, like in the meantime, you can also put them in the Telegram group. I'll also be happy to answer questions related to social media, social media challenge. Thank you so much, guys. Right.
Okay. Okay, I'm back again. So we have come to the end of day one of Global Money Week. On my part, before I leave it to the lady behind this whole process, the one who has made this happen. Somebody said, wait, before I come there, are we supposed to create our own content, or can we use? Yes, you can create your own content, especially on Twitter. Just write some of the things you've learned from this day one. You can just tweet about anything as long as it's related to either what has been talked about, what you learned, anything. You can come up with your own content. All right, that's what makes it a challenge and a good competition. So of course, with that being said, I would like to, before I invite the lady who's behind this whole creation, who has managed to actually make this happen, I would like to thank you, the delegates, for interacting with us on day one, for the questions, for the comments. I've seen a really, really good vibe in the chat boxes. And on behalf of me and also the organization, on my part, I would like to say thank you so much. And for those of you that are thinking about joining ISEC, or even being part of our opportunities, or even how you can also be part of the things that we talked about, Pascaline is going to be kind of like closing this space and also giving us insights on that. So with that being said, thank you so much, guys. And I would like to see you guys tomorrow. Make sure that you come tomorrow again for us to have a good space. So with that being said, bye-bye. From me, listen to Pascaline. Don't go. Listen to Pascaline. Pascaline, over to you.
Well, I hope you can all hear me well. I'm very excited to see the end of this now first day of the Global Money Week. And of course, I was very excited to get to talk to you all, most of the members here, most of the panelists, all of the panelists, all of our partners. I was so much happy to get to connect with you, to get to know you, and of course, to get this experience shared with you all. So without going so far, this is what we covered today, and I don't want you to forget that we have AMI opportunities that has been shared with us. If you are a young CEO or a young co-founder of any kind of business into your community or at school, you have a venture, you have just anything, make sure that you're going to be registering for this AMI bootcamp. It is going to be starting on the 22nd of April this year. Of course, this is for you, or if you know any kind of a friend who that can be benefiting from this workshop specifically, make sure you share the link with him. After some months, I know he's going to be the person who's going to be thanking you for giving him this kind of opportunity. And then don't forget that we have the incubators program for the ESPartners. And of course, the link has been shared to you and it's going to be shared to you as well on the Telegram group. So if you're not there, make sure that you join now because you're missing a lot. That's where updates are passing on and everything. And also, I hope we had a lot about Equity Bank, and the lucky thing is that we even have his own personal number that you can reach out to him or call him anytime, or just chat with him on WhatsApp and everything. Please make sure that you grab these kind of opportunities. Our partners are always tagged. If you want to know their social media handles and you want to reach out them personally, make sure that you reach them through our social media, specifically mostly on Twitter, mostly on Instagram. They are tagged there and you can see their personal handles and you can get to connect with them personally if you think that it can add any value to it. And also, so a lot here has been asking about ISEC. How can we benefit from ISEC internships? How can we become ISEC members? And a lot of questions about ISEC. And of course, being part of these life-changing opportunities that ISEC offers. How can you be at the forefront of the people who are organizing, you know, this kind of opportunities to young people? So tomorrow is the day. Tomorrow, starting from 9 a.m. sharp up to hours like this, you're going to be hearing more about ISEC specifically, and of course how you can get to join ISEC, how you can do your internship abroad with ISEC, how you can do your professional internship abroad with ISEC, and a lot of more other opportunities. But it's part for you tomorrow. Make sure that you are not going to be missing any credit. So I want to take you, this is how the agenda is going to be looking like. We're going to be having a recap and then the introduction of day 2, and we're going to be having commercial breaks. And of course, into the commercial break, there is other opportunities that is going to be shared with you. I hope you like the commercial breaks today with the AMI opportunities. So tomorrow, make sure that you are here to grab the other ones. And of course, we are excited about the Kahoot game awards and the social media awards. I think, you know, I saw people contesting on social medias. I loved it. And, you know, for the Kahoots, you know, one tip for the Kahoots, you should be someone who has been attentive for all of the things that has been talked, you know, into this Global Money Week from day 1 to the last day. Make sure you have been attentive, because that's the only thing that will make you win this. And you know, and of course, expect an email from Equity Bank Rwanda with the Zoom link that is going to be taking you to the webinar for tomorrow, you know, just an hour from now. And of course, the certificates part, Malik talked about it. So the certificates will be given to someone who has attended this 2 days event. Only that someone who has attended this day's event. So for us to track that you have attended, it's through you registering on the Zoom, you know, because that's what shows us that you have been here. You get, so make sure that when you are not just joining, you know, you are registering on Zoom for you to get the link to join. That's how you will get the certificates. And of course, it will be having, you know, all these partners accredited to that certificate. So this is something you can add on your CV. So make sure you don't miss out. And tomorrow, and we were so much happy to be with you today and to share this experience with you. I also take this time to thank our partners who helped us make this kind of event happen. They have been into the panels, they inspired us, and you know, they sponsored the event, and a lot more things they did with us. They shared this kind of experience with us young people. We are so much happy for you, and of course, we are so much happy for the attendees. We hope tomorrow is going to be a better, biggest day and an interactive one. So thank you so much. This is Pascaline. You've been seeing me behind the screen. But yo, I was happy to meet you all. Bye. So see you tomorrow. Over to you, moderator.
Bye, guys. There is nothing else to hear from me. Now I'm just going to play a track that we can all quit this wonderful space with. But with that being said, rendezvous is tomorrow. It's tomorrow. All right. See you guys.